Hi everybody. In this short video, I'm going to walk you through the usability testing that I conducted for my 5th grade hybrid narrative writing course that was hosted in Canvas. This process really helped me to improve the overall user experience for both students and educators. So, who conducted the usability testing for me? I had 3 key stakeholders: a 5th grade student, a 5th grade classroom teacher, and an instructional design colleague. Usability testing was conducted by these 3 stakeholders, and these testers represented the primary users of the course. So the learner, the implementer, and the design peer reviewer. They were ideal testers because they each approached the course from a different perspective, which ultimately helped me make the course as user-friendly as possible. The student tested the navigation and engagement. The teacher looked at the instructional flow and the clarity for students. And then my colleague offered feedback on technical structure and accessibility within my learning management system. In the future, I think I could have expanded the testing to include more students, but given the fact that it is summer break, that was a little difficult. I would have also liked to include possibly a special education teacher to further ensure the accessibility support for students with disabilities. So the platforms that I used were the course was hosted in Canvas, and there was some integrated resources that the students needed to get to using Google Docs. Canvas allowed for a very clean layout using pages instead of modules for students, which made the navigation easier for the younger learners. And the fact that students in my district are used to Canvas also helped with its usability. Google Docs posed some access issues during the testing. For instance, the student tester had a hard time viewing the doc because it wasn't shared properly. So that was some of the things that I needed to make sure that I fixed on my end when I embedded a Google document, that it actually was shared to everybody and that everybody had access for it. So that feedback really helped me to double check everything that I was sharing, all the sharing permissions, so that I could have explicit instructions for all of the external links within Canvas. So some of the key takeaways from the feedback that I received was the students wanted more clear buttons for the next steps, so buttons on each page. So in my learning management system, you'll see that I added a resourced button, a home button, things like that to help the students better navigate those. The teacher appreciated the content but recommended more modeling examples for each of the writing skills. And my other colleague pointed out that some of my headers weren't really consistent in the formatting, which kind of confused learners. So if they were underlined, the students could have thought that that was a hyperlink. So this feedback really helped me better understand what real users need for a smooth experience, not just what looks good in a design plan. So based on the feedbacks that I received, I was able to make some changes. So on the student view here, you'll see it's more of a checklist of all of the pages. I added some of these buttons that was recommended. So here on the home page, I had just this writing before, and I included a welcome video that explains everything for our visual learners and learners that might not be able to read this as well. Again, I embedded these next buttons to help the flow. I inserted some short videos within the course. So when you go to our assignments for week 1, I had some short mini lessons to help recap what we were learning, make it more clear for students. And I cleaned up just the formatting here. You'll see I added, another tab for resources, and then the home page that directs you right back home to all of the weeks here. And then if you go back to the Pages tab that's located on the side, I've also implemented a help page where they were able to access how-to videos to help navigate through Canvas if they had questions, how to submit assignments, and just help with that troubleshooting of the Google Documents. So throughout this process, these changes directly improved the clarity and flow and the functionality of the course. Another thing that the teacher had mentioned was that it was hard to figure out where to submit things since this is a hybrid course. So I broke it down to show students what they were going to do in class, what they were going to do online, and told students while we were in class that that online part, anything you needed to submit would be a hyperlink. And then the directions on the help page would let you know how to submit those assignments. Another thing that the student tester mentioned was the need for a rubric when it came to the writing portion. So that was added down here in the resource tab where if you click to that external link, it's a link to the rubric that we would use for the writing assignment. So this usability process definitely enhanced the learner's experience. Navigation through this was a lot more clear, and instructional support was given to make it more visible. Students, based on the student feedback, it would help students feel more confident in navigating the course, and teachers would also find it easier to implement with fewer things to click and manage. This testing also helped me just better align the outcomes and the activities for students. So, for example, after realizing that the model that I had before was a little weak, I added some examples in our writing. So here on the resource page, you can see example notes. There's example sentence stems with visuals, examples for the peer feedback form that we used later on in the course. So I just gave a little bit more examples for things. Finally, based on the tester input, I was able to make sure to add a help page, like I had said before. So we have the resource page, and then the help page was later added just to have some help documents. And that is also something that throughout the course I could go back in and embed different things. I could have embedded screencast videos, anything that students need, because it was a hybrid course, so I could go back and add things if need be. But overall, this usability testing process made my hybrid course stronger and more learner friendly. And thank you for watching my usability reflection video.